Hello, shiny tubers, and welcome back to another new Blueankylo Let's Play. Um, Bringing to you an interesting playthrough today, hopefully. So, it's been a while, so if I'm a bit rusty at this whole hobby, my apologies. I have not had a lot of time for Let's Playing lately, but I'm trying to make a comeback here, maybe. So what are we doing? We're starting off not just your regular, not your Papa's Shining Force 2, but a ROM hack of the same game. So we're still playing on Sega Mega Drive. Don't mind the graphical glitches; it's part of the fun. But yeah, we're playing Shining Force 2 and a ROM hack called Tactics Plus. And I'll switch over to the ROM hacking page here just to show you a little bit more of the description, because there's not a lot of description about this game. So I'll show you what you can get. I'll leave a link in the description as I generally do. But yeah, it's a ROM hack. You know, you can probably figure out how to apply these if you want to do it yourself. Dark Claw is the guy that did it. Assumedly guy, could be whatever. But Dark Claw has, I think, made quite a few Shining Force ROM hacks, including one that's been recommended to me for a while, which is called War of the Gods. But this is the newer. I don't actually know if it's like a continuation, but this is his most recent, or their most recent ROM hack. And some of there's only two, but you know, there's only a couple of reviews. But anyway, I've played through it once, so I'm confident it's worth a shot. It's in terms of general, like, there's not a lot of information. That's one of the downsides here. Is there's very little user documentation. There's no PDF or website or even a README file. I don't think, actually. I mean, maybe there's a Shining Force forums. Maybe you hunt it down. Assumedly, this person may have shared more details somewhere else, but it's pretty good. Anyway, you know, if you're curious, there's a fair number of Shining Force 2 ROM hacks. Not the most busy of communities, but I've tried the most recent one as of this time of recording was Return to Grands. I don't really recommend it. I played through about 3/4 of it, and I was getting really frustrated. It's you know what? One of the things, I'm going to try not to rant about this too much, but a lot of ROM hackers and modders for games, they try to make things more difficult because they've played it, you know, countless hours, and they find the original game too easy, so they up it a bit. But it's very easy to turn that dial too far, and I was finding this one was just obnoxiously difficult. After about the moon visit, after moon, not the moon, but mound, I don't know, the city in northern Paramecia before you go fight Camilla and all that. Where you find the arm of the golem. Anyway, I was around there where I'm like, this is just too punishing for me. And you know, we'll talk about it a little bit for our current ROM hack, which is Tactics Plus. Anyway, I believe it is somewhat related to War of the Gods, in the sense it's the same developer and it's continuing his learning, whatever. But the idea is this one is one of the more recent ones, and so it says that this is a culmination of his previous hacks and stuff. Anyway, that's that. Other than that, as a general overview, it's still the base game. I don't think it changes the story or anything, or the dialogue. That's one of the things Return to Grans does, is it updates some of the translation, the text. But this one does not do that, the one we're playing, for instance. So what does it do? Well, it restructures a lot of the weapons and classes and characters. It changes kind of the order of characters you recruit a little bit. So you'll see some people a little bit earlier than normal, and some other people a bit later. It's replaced a few of the lesser fun characters with other people. Spells are completely redone, weapons and armor. It kind of scales everything up a bit, so the numbers get higher and bigger. And I would say it's more difficult than the base game. The base game, you know, most people probably, if you're familiar, if you're watching this video, Shining Force 2 is fairly easy. Like, some people I think say it's really easy just because they played a lot of like Fire Emblem and stuff, but like, it's not meant to be Fire Emblem, you know? It's like an RPG. It's closer, it's a mix between like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest with Fire Emblem kind of thing. So if you try to play it like Fire Emblem, and this is like my preface here, is I often play Shining Force 1 and 2 as though they're Fire Emblem with permadeath, so you don't want to have your characters die. So I tend to be a little bit, I'm like, oh, this is way too hard for a ROM hack when they make these games too difficult to keep your party alive. Like, stuff like D-Soul insta-killing people and just having high damage thresholds where they can one or two shot your characters kind of frustrates me, because in a Fire Emblem game, that would be terrible, and is terrible, because it's not much fun. But Fire Emblem is more like, you can math it out, right? Because everything you can kind of predict a little better. This game has got more RNG in terms of turn order, double attacks, criticals, stuff like that are not as easy to predict. So as long as you don't play this ROM hack, and probably the other ones too, with this understanding that you're going to keep all your characters alive all the time, you're going to play a perfect run, like, it's very, very unlikely. People are going to die, and you're just going to have to deal with it, which is the base game is designed around you resurrecting your characters. It's not a big deal. But if I'm complaining, it's, I'm just trying to preface that I play the vanilla Shining Force 2 a specific way to try not to have any deaths, and I get a little salty when I lose a couple due to, cheap, so to speak, game mechanics. But it is, I think, by design that it's harder. So other than that, like, there's lots of tweaks that we'll see shortly. I've already done a lot of intro here for 5 minutes. What I will say is I'm probably going to be playing the game with the internal music off and at like 4 or 5 times speed, because I'm not here to read the dialogue and do the story again. We're here to show off the ROM hack. And I think running on a higher frame rate will probably speed that up. So probably halfway through the first episode, we'll switch from game regular 100% speed and regular game music. I do quite enjoy the Shining Force 2 sound design and background music, but I'll be switching to YouTube an OST of the game, and then some video game remixes, as I do on the channel fairly regularly. So I'm warning you guys in advance, assuming you need a warning. But some people get real cranky about stuff like that. Anyway, let's just look at sort of what's going on here in the game opening. You may notice right away, there's a certain Ratman that's not there. And this is the first swap, let's call it. And I think I understand why the developer, the ROM hacker, did this. You don't get an archer in the base game till quite a bit later. May is already in South Paramecia. That's like past the prologue into Act 2 or Chapter 2 or whatever you want to call it. And she's awesome and all that. But by the time you get the 2 standard archers, you can already bench them, basically, and they're pretty trash. So I think the hack here puts one of the 2 normal archers pretty early on in the game, so you get a chance to use them, and they did get buffed significantly. So I kind of like it. It's a bit weird, you come into this thinking Shining Force 2, and then, like, Janet shows up instead of Slade. Like, weird. But I think it's worth it. Worth a shot anyway. Anyway, the story is the same, so we're not really going to read anything. Let's just get in here. Blah blah blah. We're not going to read the story. Hopefully, you guys know the basic Shining Force 2 story. I did play through it once, just to make sure it's worth it, because sometimes, like I said, these games get too punishing, and then I quit because I'm annoyed. But this one I've played through once, so I'm pretty confident we'll be fine here. So of course it's Bowie, is his classic name. We'll just go with Blue, because, that's me. We only get to rename 2 people unless you enter a cheat code, which, is the old Konami code, or whatever it's called. Not Konami, it's almost like it. It's like up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start. I forget exactly the code for it. It's in all of the old Camelot games, I think, actually. Anyway, you can rename all the characters in the game, but in fact, you don't have to, because now they use lowercase letters, so you don't feel bad about all the characters screaming at you. Good job, ROM hackers. Anyway, let's get going. I will be playing on normal. I think it's pretty hard on normal. That's what I played through the first time. I'm not really interested in giving the enemies even more attack value, basically. That's from what I read, or I think what I've tested is basically most ROM hacks just make the higher difficulties. In the vanilla game, I think Super gives enemies 50% more strength or attack, which is not as bad on weapon wielders, but on monsters with just huge attack power, it's pretty brutal. Most ROM hacks do something similar, but scale it, so it's like 10%, 20%, 40% kind of thing. I do not recommend playing any of these unless you're real machoistic or whatever. Just stick with normal. It's already pretty hard, honestly. So, it's Shining Force 2. We know the drill. The thing is, there's a lot of little differences. I'm going to try to point them out as we go. You normally start with a wooden stick, right? Like, we've got a short sword. So the game has redesigned kind of the balance of weapons and stuff. You'll see real soon. And already, regular speed is too slow. So I'm going to change that right away. One thing I'm going to just preemptively complain about is I'm using RetroArch because it's easier to capture on the on my streaming software, my recording software. I hate it. This is, I don't know what it is about the like the game, the emulation is fine. Like it runs games just great, and I can capture them very nicely with modern drivers and stuff. But navigating this menu, I swear it's designed for, I don't know what it's designed for. If I flick audio to off, it still plays. So I have to mute the audio, and then it should work. There we go. And then I can hit my speed up mode, which is how we'll be playing most of the game, because like I said, we're going to try to go fast just to save my time and yours. Now, like some of these ROM hacks, they do change dialogue, like the books, the flavor dialogue, but I don't think very much, like you pointed out in the comments if you notice any, but for the most part, there's very little text edits in this ROM hack. But if you see one, feel free to shout it out. Now I'm going to start playing a little bit of background music. It might be a little quiet, but I just want it in there, and it'll spike up louder eventually. So yeah, Shining Force 2, you know the drill. We're not here to make friends. We're here to kill gizmos and stuff. And take names, right? So this is our buddy Jaha having a nap. There's nothing you can do in town other than just talk to people and not go outside until we progress the plot. I don't think there's any changes here. Actually, we could go grab the... No, we can't go to the boat yet. You can grab a quick chicken over there if you want, but not quite yet. So, our friends Chester and Sarah, same as always, basically. Sir Astral, did his cloak change color? I don't think so. One of the other ones I was playing changed like a bunch of sprites, so cloaks and visual stuff changed for a lot of the units. For this one, though, I think most of the color schemes are the same, but, again, I could be wrong. I've been playing a lot of ROM hacks. Alright, so as we're following along with the story, if you really don't know the story, we're students at Sir Astral's Academy for Gifted Heroes, I guess, and the king's having a bad time. There was a storm, and some thief probably stole some important gems from the shrine that this kingdom is supposed to guard. There's some items in here that we probably don't have space to carry, really, but it's just like medicinal herbs and stuff. I'll pick them up maybe after we get one more party member. There's lots of... I do like the game, and I always feel bad for just skipping it out, because there's quite a lot to explore and do stuff. But, for the purpose of this Let's Play, that's not my intention. I do enjoy that kind of exploring, talking to people stuff, but... that's what the vanilla Shining Force 2 game is for. I did do a Let's Play. If you aren't aware, I do have a vanilla Shining Force 2 playthrough on the channel, which I do more voice acting and dialogues and following the story and talking about it and, flirting with the princess and, all the stuff you would expect to do. I think they have shuffled items in their regular locations. It's kind of like a randomizer, almost feels like, if you played those kinds of things, where... there's a Shining Force 2 randomizer. I should check it out, actually. But I think the locations are all the same, but the items you find there are not guaranteed to be the same as in vanilla. So if you remember the location of all the random medical herbs, mithrils, and stuff, you will find some secrets. And I know most of them, and I've got a guide on the side I can look up if I really want. But for instance, there's one back here. It's usually mithril. Yeah, it's still mithril. Cool. So that just fills up our inventory space. But we will sell it for some early money, and this selling to the shop is kind of like a discount storage center, because you can buy it back later, but money is more valuable early on, and it's fine. It's no big deal. So anyway, Astral comes to this tower looking for some cursed spirit or something, and finds one, basically. An evil gizmo coming to possess the king, but meanwhile, we are attacked by duplicate gizmos. So you might go, wait, 18 hit points? That's a lot. Yeah, usually they've got like 5. But we are a little bit stronger, too. So our swordsman Blue has a little bit more attack power than normal. So does Sarah. She's got her heal spell. And so does Chester. Actually is not much stronger. We're going to talk about Chester. He's also Squire instead of a Knight, I think is the thing. Let's try to speed things up a little bit. That's all we really can do. There's some ways you can speed up a little bit, but we've already got super speed, so it's fine. Alright, so first fight, kind of a tutorial. But these guys, I mean, if you've played the vanilla game, you've probably died to this fight before. I say it's a tutorial, but it's also like, by the way, Shining Force 2 can be hard, even in the base game. Especially if you're playing on the plus 50% attack power, where these guys can basically one-shot your guys if they get 2 attack. Well, I say one-shot, but if they get good turn order, they can do a couple attacks. So the strategy is usually hide down here in the corner, wait for 1 or 2 to come at you. And as you notice right away, this is way easier. So this is actually an easy hack. This is a hack for babies. Instead of doing like 3 damage and killing you in a few attacks or a crit, 1 damage? Pfft, babies. Also, Chester starts with a spear now, which you can throw. In fact, all of Chester's weapons are 2 range or more. So look forward to that. Chester is less durable than it used to be. We also got Sarah. She's got a different rod. It's not just a wooden stick. It's a sleep rod. I could, in fact, use it to try to put them to sleep. I don't think these can even break. There's some items, usually, most castable items can break on use. However, most of the ones in this hack don't. Some do, but a lot of the early game ones you can use, I believe, infinitely. And of course we missed, as usual, and took extra damage. If you were playing vanilla, I think Bowie would have died, actually. That would have been 3 hits, and in normal 3 damage or so each, he would be dead, because we missed the attack. You know, that is very much how the vanilla game works a lot of the time. And then 4 attacks. I could have healed him with Sarah in between, but, you know, if he was taking full damage, that is quite likely a try again. So, you might be saying, well, so much for difficulty, Blue, this is way easier. Well, we're just getting started. What else should I talk about? Oh, you may have noticed, there's more gizmos than usual. That is... Oh, I should probably heal Blue up still. You can't take too many hits. Ah, look! A gizmo has appeared. So the hack does add a few... Not too many, but it adds a few respawn points on certain maps. Also, heal is more expensive. 4 MP instead of 3. 10 experience for the job. I can slow things down if you want to read the level ups and stuff, but you know, it doesn't really matter. We get level ups. The numbers, I like to focus on them in a vanilla game, but in a hot hack, it's hard to know like who's got higher or lower growths and stuff. It's all changed, so we'll just keep an eye on things. Blue got poisoned, which kind of sucks, but I did get a double attack. Poison's changed. It used to be what, 2 or 3 damage a turn? Now it's 10% of your max HP, I think. There's a change to that. And we don't have any way to get rid of the poison, so, you know, enjoy. Enjoy being poisoned for now. And more gizmos keep appearing. So we need to push forward and stop missing. Yeah, I mean, this is a classic Shining Force 2. Flying enemies, like gizmos, have a... Well, I don't know the exact number, but pretty high, like 1 in 8 or something like that, chance to dodge. And it could be different in the hack. I have no idea if they use the vanilla evasion rates. In fact, I'm pretty confident they've tweaked the mechanics for doubles and stuff. I think my party gets a lot more double attacks than we used to, but the enemy seems to dodge about as much as usual. So anyway, we've got our first level up. Hooray! I don't know if it's different than normal. I'm not so, like, you know, there's a bit of RNG with level ups and stuff, so it's... Did she get 2 turns in a row? I think she must have just had end of the round and then beginning of the round. It's... I'm not going to try to say I can explain all of the Shining Force 2 turn order system. It's complicated. Oh, come on, Chester. Left him with 1. Joke's on that one. I'm already poisoned. Can't double poison. Thankfully. Let's use a healing herb. Now, actually, so usually healing herbs are very, very cheap, and you can spam them for some easy healing experience. I'm just going to say, actually, healing herbs are not cheap anymore, and I might not want to just spend them all on the first fight. Money is a little bit tighter in this hack, I've found, so... At least early on. I'd like Chester to get the kill on this one, so you can get to level 2. We'll try out the sleep rod. You never know. It never works, as usual. Don't worry, we'll get better on-use rods and stuff. Ah, good job, Chester. Classic. All right, we can take 1 more turn, I think. Well, we'll try the sleep rod again. There we go, we got it. 1 for 2 on the sleep rod. And Chester gets the kill, he gets a level up, and very bad stats. That was 1s and everything. I mean, it's early game, that's what you usually get. But anyway, there you go, first fight. We didn't even have to die or reload. Good gaming. 20 minutes in. Well, yeah, we're probably going to be doing like maybe 1 hour episodes or something just to keep the momentum going strong. Looks like the Gizmo escaped anyway, despite our best efforts. So we'll go chase him up here to the king that is possessed, where Sarastral will depossess him by shooting fire at him. Very good job. Excellent. And Gizmo be gone. There you go. Of course, that tires Sarastral out, so he needs a nap. He's old. It doesn't really matter if he dies. And the minister and the king will reinforce the fact that he's old and it doesn't matter here. So they send the soldiers out to follow the Gizmo, and then we get a message to go do some research. Time to go study, basically. So we're going to go visit some old man and learn a little bit about this history of our land, I guess. We didn't do very good in school. Mr. Howell. So there you go. And also, that's the princess. We only get to talk to her a couple times, so say hi. Maybe do a little bit of flirting. I trust you, son. I'm not actually his son. We're just... we just go to his school, actually. We have a mom. She lives in town. You know, it's where we woke up. So there's this stuff. I could have got that antidote. It would have been great. Ah, a gold nugget. See, they moved some stuff around. Gold nugget, as far as I know, is just for selling for money. So I don't think any of these other random barrels had anything in vanilla. We'll check them real quick. All empty. We go into the girls' quarters and get yelled at. Or you have to get yelled at if you go there first, I guess. But anyway, that's probably everything in the castle. We got the mithril. We got the random items. Good. Let's go get our next unit. Also, you know, we got a mom. She lives over here. Just tell her that we're going on a trip. Yeah, we're working for the king as a kid, and we have an unnamed father who's not around. You know, he went to buy some smokes. So let's get Jaha. There you go. And let's have a look. So he does not have axes. In fact, axes don't even exist. He has work gloves because he punches. It's kind of like a master monk, except he doesn't heal. So, you know, we'll see. I didn't have great success with Jaha last time, so we'll see. Usually Jaha is at least tanky. I don't know if he's very tanky in this hack. Like, 10 defense is not much better than anybody else. So what I'll do here is I'll use the alternate storage system of, here, take this. Give me some money. And I'm not going to sell the gold nugget because it's too expensive and we're probably going to die. And you lose... If your main hero dies, you lose half of your money. Forever. And I think you can sell it for like 15,000 gold. So I don't want to lose 7,500 gold every time I have a bad enemy crit. But I will need, this is the one I'm looking for, to cure poison. We're going to get poisoned and stunned and paralyzed constantly. Because one of the things that changes, a lot more enemies have on-hit status effects. And in fact, we get those too. So that'll be fun. Is there anything in the shop else to look at? Yeah, healing herbs. I think they're normally 10 gold. They're much more expensive now. And yeah, they just have the regular equipment. So the only way to use things like the sleep rod is if you can equip them, right? So just basic mechanics. Even though it might be cool to have everyone a sleep rod to put enemies to sleep, you have to equip it to be able to use it as a battle item. So that's too bad. We'll see. We can get 2 battles done today. This is much different, though. We are kind of surrounded. And I almost feel bad for selling that mithril, because I got a bad feeling about this. But let's see what happens. Let's hide Jaha in the forest. We're going to just try to hide against the wall here. And 24 hit points, hey? 25 hit points, hey? Let's see what happens. 8 damage. Well, good dodge on our healer. Let's try to focus one of these down quick. And by quick, I mean we didn't even kill one enemy on our first round. So at least we're kind of trying to bring them to us, like, not get surrounded so terribly. And maybe we can put, like, the big rat to sleep or something. That'd be nice. We got the slime. Well, that's 1 less attack. So, I mean, I'll take it. Alright, Jaha, finish him. Alright. 4 damage per rat hit. Let's try to... This one hasn't had a turn yet. We're on the 2nd round, so if we can put him to sleep, we'll skip another turn. We did not put the rat to sleep, so we took some damage. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Sarah's in a bad spot. Let's... So there is land effect that's defense, effectively. This is not a great turn for Chester here. I don't want to put him on the road. I also don't want him here, because that's how I want Blue there, or Jaha. We gotta try to get... Yeah, we gotta do some damage focus on this huge. We gotta try to kill it. Critical hit, good start. Another critical hit, not very much damage, and now we can't hit it again. That's what I was worried about. At least the enemies are kind of splitting. They're not, like, focus firing on anyone in specific except Sarah. Boy, yeah, we are very much surrounded. Well, if I move Jaha, then the slime will probably... They'll have 3 of them surrounding Sarah. That'll be even worse. So if I put Jaha here, then Sarah can move up. And then Chester will probably die. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. They do like to favor the hero. This is looking a little bit rough. Try to keep Blue alive a little longer. Good. So I was hoping the forest terrain would make it 3 damage instead of 4. So, great. Let's try to finish this one off. Not even close. I don't think we're winning this fight. That's good. Splitting the damage. Chester's still in there. Jaha has done practically nothing. Well, you never know. Maybe something will happen. I could egress out right now, but, you know, we're going to kill 1 rat. Get a level up. Maybe we'll be okay. We're gonna try to not have anyone die. I know I said it's impossible to do that, but... turn ordered. We got turn ordered. So Sarah went first, and then the rat got 2 attacks before she got a turn. So this round she got bad turn order and died. So that's gonna make it pretty hard to survive this this fight. But maybe, you know, we're thinning. It's 3 on 3, you know. Well, Chester got pretty lucky there. So, you know, grinding. We might... Sheesh, another double attack on the hero. We might seriously need to consider even a counterattack. How dare they? Yeah, I don't think we're actually winning this fight. I mean, I could keep chewing on herbs. Maybe I can pull out a win, but I think... I don't like being on that road. Less defense on the road, basically. It's good for the enemies to be there, but... Let's keep fighting. We're not dead yet. But I am running real short on the heals. Okay. Maybe we can still pull this off. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. We win. Alright, cool. Now, the thing is, the fights just get harder, okay? So, we're gonna have to do some grinding. The good news is, I think we could have won that fight. Other than, you know, Sarah got murdered. So, I'm gonna take the aggress, revive Sarah, and then do it again. And I'm not gonna always record the grinding, but for the first episode, I'll give you an idea of how this game's gonna run. Because the Romhack is, like I said, it is actually harder than vanilla. And, it's gonna require you to use more of the game's mechanics than normally you would need to engage with. So you're gonna want to you're gonna buy more stuff. We're gonna use more stuff. We're gonna need to grind. The base game doesn't really require grinding generally, but this one, you know, we just take too much damage. Look at this stuff. Yeesh. Yeesh. All right, can you kill that slime? Maybe? No. We're getting to level 4. I will say also, I'm pretty sure the enemies have a higher level, sort of, doesn't really change their stats specifically, but the enemy's level determines how much experience you get for killing them. So it basically means you can level to higher points on the same enemies. Is what I'm pretty confident has happened here. This is what I originally wanted to do, basically have everyone back against the wall here. It's harder for us to focus fire, but it's also way harder for the enemies to surround us until we can kill a couple. So, this was my original plan. We just didn't get good... Ooh, double attack. Look at that, Jaha. He did like 19 damage there. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's pretty awesome. Good job, Jaha. Blues... Don't play the death music. Okay, they're all pretty full. Let's shuffle... I don't have any trees to get him in with more defense. Yeah, let's just keep him here. No, if I stay out here, 2 more hits will probably kill me. Alright, we'll stay here, but we'll eat one of my herbs. Yum, yum. The enemy AI is, you know, a little bit hard to predict. Generally, they will prefer to go after, you know, the leader. Not always, though. Oh, we also got stunned. It was hard to notice, again, with the speed. But... one of these enemies stun Jaha on attack, which is one of the things that makes the game a lot harder. Eventually, I think one of our attacks will apply a status. We just haven't seen it happen yet. Level 5. This is looking better than the first round. Managed to get my location set up a little better here, the defensive positioning. We did learn the detox spell. Sarah's fallen behind in levels a little bit because she missed half a fight, but... You know, well, I'm confident she'll turn strong eventually. It'd be nice if we could feed her some kills. And I think for this point, she still gets more experience attacking than for healing. Also, I mean, Blue definitely needs levels, because if he dies, he dies. I did see like a 2-point attack up there, I think. Yeah, like I said, stats and growth is a little different than vanilla. Let's see if I can set up the final kill for Sarah. I think we can wait. She won't get a level up, but I'd like to get her closer to a level up. Actually, okay. Speaking of grinding, there's a couple ways to grind, you know. It's not just killing enemies. You can, of course, heal. And I think they've changed it so everybody gets healing experience. It used to be if you used a herb, you got 1 experience point, unless you were a healer, and then you'd get around 10 or more, possibly a little more. Let's test it out. So if Blue uses a herb, yeah, he gets 10 experience. Usually it's 1, so you could theoretically grind by buying herbs and healing 30, getting 30 experience per fight from that. The only time I'd ever even consider that is in the early game, but basically what we've done is we've given her an extra 20 experience from healing a couple turns. So that now if she gets the kill, she will hopefully get enough for level up. Which is what I'm trying to do here. There you go, level 4. So I'm pretty happy with that. We did that fight twice. I'm going to try not to like stick on one fight and redo it like 20 times until we're at the max level. I'm just going to try to keep us around the power curve the game expects, or what I predict the game expects. It's really hard. There is some treasures we can pick up. There's another mithril here. This is, of course, the abandoned gem shrine. It probably has a name. It's got some power wine / attack water, which we could use right now to make someone a little stronger. Is there anything else secret that I can remember? Those 2, that might be it. Can't get... Yeah, I think that's all we can do for now. You can technically not get to the enemy territory, but I think this is probably a good point to end the episode. We'll explore this town and have the next fight or 2 in the next episode. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how this ROM hack will work, Tactics Plus. In theory, it will require a little bit more tactics than the base game. We'll see how it turns out. And I'm going to try to use like different characters than I did in my first playthrough, so I'll try to show off the changes, you know, the new characters, the new mechanics. There's some new classes, at least 1 new class. 2 new classes I can think of. So, yeah, anyway, that's our intro. I hope you guys have enjoyed. A little bit of a short episode for episode 1, only a little over 34 minutes, but Like I said, I'll probably try to average 30 to 60 for a tactics game, but with super speed, you know, we'll get through it fairly quick, I think. And yeah, I think I'll go to the OC remix for the next video. So thanks for watching. Like I said at the beginning, a bit rusty if you've been following the channel, if you're not just a YouTuber. I took a bit of a break the last year or two with real life stuff getting in the way and just haven't had as much time. So hopefully I have some fun and share another cool game / ROM hack with you guys. So hope you've enjoyed and have a great day. I'll see you next time.